There is one other thing that I want to quickly touch upon before I close this video, and that is the possibility of doing Jeffersonian transcript in Shotcut subtitles. And I know that there are other ways of doing Jeffersonian alongside video. Liz Stoker, for example, has a very effective way of doing it that utilizes the animation function in PowerPoint, and I'm not saying that this method is going to be anywhere near as good as that, but I was surprised recently when I was just experimenting that actually trying to do Jeffersonian in Shotcut, it actually turned out quite well. So I just wanted to show my findings, share my findings, and just hint at this as a possibility of something that you might want to do. So what you can do here is, if we first of all, I'll take off these two text filters, and I'll add a third text filter, which is going to be my Jeffersonian text filter, and go into the font settings here, and let's scroll up to Courier, because of course, well, Courier new, we're doing Jeffersonian, and I'll put it in bold because it's quite thin otherwise, and I'll just type some sample text there, and oops, I need to use font size. And one thing you'll notice about Jeffersonian, it will not do a black outline on the text, it just won't do it. So what you have to do is just go into font and just have it black, and you can expand the thickness of the text, of course, using the thickness of the outline, but for some reason it just will not do an outline. I suppose it's just the nature of Courier as a text, it just doesn't allow for outlines. I'm not sure about the technicalities there, so I won't try to dive into them. So we've seen, okay, we've got Courier set up on screen, but of course, trying to do Jefferson down here at the bottom of the screen, I don't think that's really going to work very well. I think that what you need to do if you're going to do Jefferson, because so much of Jefferson is about the unrolling of the transcript, so I think you could do, and again, this is just my suggestion of how it could work, you could get it so that it takes up this side of the screen, for example. So what you can do, if we just use the basic positioning tools, so we can go vertical fit top and horizontal fit left, and you might want to finesse that a little bit by using this just to bring, because it's quite close to the corner there, so it's okay. And this is the section, and I've already got it written out what the interviewer says, so I'll just copy and paste it in. And of course, you would want, if you were doing Jeffersonian, you would want to add speaker attribution, so int for interviewer. And one thing oops, I've clicked out there by accident. Go back to this. And in a roughly chronological way as well. And if I can just get this, okay, so you can see it at the top there. And in a roughly chronological way as well. And of course, you'll notice that in the text box, the text is not necessarily aligned in the same way that it is on the screen, because on the screen the font is perfectly aligned, whereas down here it's not aligned at all. That's just something you have to get used to, I think. I don't think there's any way to change it to the Courier font in this box. But anyway, I'm just going to take out the punctuation there, and I'm not going to do full Jefferson on this. I'll just highlight an overlap, and let's say that Charles is it seems to come in around the as well, so I'll put cha for Charles, and I'll try and get these things aligned. Again, it's good to keep an eye on the screen when you're doing this. I think that's backspace, and Charles is there, okay, but it's not aligned at all, is it? Actually, I think that one, it's so odd having this disparity. This is one reason why it's probably not a great way of doing Jefferson, but it's again, this is experimental. I'm just showing this as an experiment. And what we can do then is something, because you'll notice that the text actually doesn't stand out very well against this background. So what you can use is this background function here, and we can give it let's try and give it a nice grey background just to help it stand out. Yeah, so you could have something like that on screen, and you could, of course, you could either try and have it unroll, which would mean adding lots and lots of different splits in the video down here, or you could, for example, have just a long chunk on screen while the speakers are. You could break it up into longer chunks and have the Jefferson on screen for that, but. Yeah, that is my experimental way of doing Jefferson in Shotcut. I'm sure if you played around with the tools there would be other ways of doing it, but I just wanted to highlight again the power of the subtitling tool and how it could potentially be used. Right, so that's it for the subtitling video, and that's it overall for these videos, for now at least. If people like these videos, and if there are other things that people would like me to cover, I may come back and do more. But that's it for this initial run of videos at least, and if you've followed me from the start, thank you very much. And obviously, once you've applied all of the settings, once you've done all of the subtitles, what you would do is you go to export and YouTube and so on. But if you have followed me from the start, thank you very much, and yeah, I hope this video has been at least somewhat useful, and this video series, I should say. I hope this video series has been somewhat useful, and I hope to speak to you again sometime. But for now, it's bye-bye from me.